Hey everybody, I am Howard, and this is Otter's Retirement Corner. Don't change the channel, you've come to the right place. We're going to talk today about something every YouTuber talking about retirement talks about, and there's 100 videos out there for you to watch about this. I'm going to show you the way I attacked it, which may be a little bit different. And this is, how do you decide where to withdraw money from out of all your different accounts when you're in retirement? And even though this is something for when you're in retirement, please keep in mind, I started doing these exercises 2, 3 years before retirement so I could prepare. 5 years out wouldn't be a bad idea. So those of you getting ready for retirement, this is something you have to look at. And when we talk about this, it's okay, I've got money in a brokerage account, it's a taxable account. I pay taxes on my interest and my dividends. I've got an IRA, I've got a Roth IRA, I've got a deferred salary income, I've got an HSA, I've got rental income, whatever it is, where do you take money out of and how do you decide? And for me, the overriding factor, and it should probably be for most of you, is income taxes. How do you avoid income taxes? How do you pay as few taxes as possible? Some of your secondary concerns may be people with much higher incomes. How do I avoid the Medicare IRMA, the extra charge you get for your Part B and D because you've earned too much? The hurdle for that is $206,000 for a joint couple filing jointly, so not going to affect a lot of you. The last thing that you may be concerned with is, I want to leave an inheritance. So the strategies are different depending upon what's most important to you. If your main goal is to leave as large an inheritance as you possibly can, you may be the person who says, okay, I'm going to take Social Security at 62 or 65, or as soon as I retire, 67, whatever it is, I'm not waiting. And that's because I want to spend that money and keep my investments in my retirement portfolio or my brokerage account so that if I die or when I die, someone's going to get that money. And if I were to take that money first and delay Social Security, that money would be less and my heirs would be getting less money. And I understand that. This is probably not for you if that's the way you're going to go, but even when you're doing that, you want to always be thinking about reducing your taxes as much as possible. The other one possibility is you want to leave as much money to charities as possible. Kind of the same thing as leaving money to heirs. You might attack it the same way. You might want to give more money while you're still alive, but if your goal is just to leave as much of an inheritance as possible, you have another thing to look at. Now, let me say this. Again, I've seen a lot of videos of this. Safeguard Wealth Management probably has the best one. I'll put a link in. It was about 10, 11 months ago, I think. I'll put a link in down there, and you can go look at that one. But let me say this. This is an extremely complicated topic, and the more accounts you have, the more sources of revenue you have, the more complicated it is. I am not giving you tax advice. I am not giving you investment advice. I'm not giving you withdrawal advice. What I'm doing is showing you what I did to prepare for retirement and to lower my taxes within retirement. The numbers I'm using here are not mine. They're an example, but the methodology will be the same. Okay, so let me set it up here. Stay with me. This is actually pretty easy here, but for each of you individually, it's kind of complicated to go through this, so you have to be willing to spend some time. My advice, and again, this isn't investment or legal advice, is to hire somebody to look at this, either a CPA or a certified financial planner like Safeguard Wealth Management. And I'm not recommending them. I don't know them other than their videos. I'm just saying someone like that who could help you through this. Pay them a fee, pay them a few $100s or $1,000, whatever their amount is. Don't pay them a percentage of your portfolio. All right, so here's the scenario. We're going to talk about a couple filing jointly, and one of them is now retired at 65. This is the retired person's ages, and this goes on. You can run this out to 90 years old. This is just an example of what you'll go through. The need is for $60,000 a year. And every year that increases by 2, 62, 64, 68, until we get to 78. Okay, you can't see that here. I didn't have enough room to write everything. I should spring for a bigger whiteboard, I guess. All right, so what you want to do now is you look at your, we're going to say they're going to try to stay into that 10% federal tax rate. And for married filing jointly, the limit is $23,200 of taxable income. Now remember, that is after you take your standard deduction of $29,200. So their goal is they could earn up to $52,400 and stay in that tax bracket, that 10% tax bracket. All right. Now what I've also done is increase those amount. And again, I'm making these numbers up. I'm guesstimating, and that's all you can do right now. This is how much they increase every year. So by the time they're 74 in the 10th year, you know, $75,000 is how much you can earn and still be in that 10% tax bracket. I'm assuming there'll still be a 10% tax bracket. Again, the tax laws may change, but when they do, you redo this exercise. All right, so this person has one spouse working, so there's wages. They're going to have some Social Security income here, and I'm going to separate this out into two things. How much Social Security they're getting and how much of it is taxable. Now, I made up the taxable amount. I didn't go through and try to do an exercise because that's way too many variables and way too much guessing. I just estimated a number. So for instance, at age 70, the person who retired is going to get $36,000 a year, and we're going to say 15% of it is taxable, or $18,000, okay? Here you'll see it jumps up a lot. That's when the other spouse retires and starts getting Social Security. So this is the gross amount. That's the taxable amount for each year. Again, don't kill me on these numbers, made up, just to show you the exercise. All right, so, and again, I left out from the top here because of, room's sake. I didn't put in HSA, pension, maybe you have some homes you rent out, rental income. Those are all things you would, do it on a spreadsheet, get a legal sheet of paper and spread these out. That's what I did. I wrote them out. And I did them over and over and over again, doing different scenarios. All right, so 65 years old, the spouse makes $45,000. We need $60,000. Okay, so you don't want to go over $52,400 in taxable income. So remember, there's two things here. There's income and there's taxable income. All right. So $45,000. We took $7,400 out of the IRA. That's taxable income. So we got our $52,400. Now I needed $60,000. So what I did is took money out of my Roth and my brokerage account, and I don't have to pay taxes on those, income taxes. All right. Within your brokerage account, you may have earned interest and dividends and might have a little bit of tax to pay on those. But as far as the income itself, that's what we did. So we're taking $7,600 in non-taxable income, so we have enough money to spend here. All right, and all we did is go down here, and you'll see, I took some from the Roth, and then I imagined maybe the Roth is gone. All right, so now we switch to taking it all from the brokerage account. Again, now we're here, 48,000. Here's 10,000 to get us to our 58,000 taxable, 58,000, and 8,000 extra to get us what we need to spend, because now we're at 66,000 that we need. All right, now here's where, and you can't help this, okay? Here's where you get caught up. Now we get to age 70. You have the income from the wage earner, one spouse. The other spouse is getting Social Security. So 52 and 36 in Social Security is 88,000, which is more than they need. All right? You can't control that. You don't want to reduce that. You don't want to reduce your salary. So we have 88,000, and we're over that 62,000. So you have a choice here. You can either pay the extra tax at now a 12% tax rate, which isn't terrible. We're talking about 10% to 12%. So you'll pay an extra, 12% or extra 2% higher rate on that extra income. Or you can, stop working, work less, but, it's not a bad thing. So same thing happens here. So for 2 years here, we're over our hurdle, and we're going to pay some extra taxes. And again, you can avoid that if you want, but you're better off not avoiding it because you get more money. All right, so now we get through that, and the second person retires. You can't see me, can you? Second person retires. Now we have 60,000 in Social Security, and we're going to say 60% of it is taxable, 36,000. All right, so we get to go up to $68,000. So we have the 36, 56. Oh, and look, they have a deferred salary that's starting to pay out, and this is taxable. It's like a retirement account. So it's a deferred tax, deferred salary. I actually have one of those, which is why I put it here. When I'm 76, I think it starts paying me out. So let's say it's paying out $12,000 a year. Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, whatever it is. So, now we have 60,000 and 20,000, but only 36 is taxable. So we have 36 and 20 is 56, and 12 is 68. So we stayed in our 10% tax hurdle, all right? And we got all the money we needed, and then some. We got more. That's okay. We got more than we needed. And what happens here is if you can fill up that tax bracket and you have to take more money than you need, do it. Pay that 10% now so that, suddenly if you get RMDs and these are much higher, they're not going to kill you. I'm not guessing here what their portfolio is. I'm not suggesting it's anything. When you start paying RMD or pulling RMDs, subject to RMDs when you're age 73, if you've got $1 million, that could be $38,000 you have to take out, $39,000, something like that. 10 years out in the future, that could be much more. So the reason we want to take out as much from our IRA now and stay within the 10% tax bracket is so that we reduce our RMDs later. Okay? So, last year here, we need $78,000. We have 65 from Social Security. We have 24 here is 89. We have 12 more here, 91. So we've got 13,000 more than we need, but we're still in the 10% tax bracket because we got 39 and 24 is 63 and 12 is 75. So our taxable income is 75. Now again, you can manipulate this too with taking money from an HSA, taking money from a pension, which may or may not be taxable. Some of it is probably taxable, some of it is probably not. So again, this is where you need a CPA or someone like a certified financial planner that'll do this for you. Or, rental income, whatever it is. So the point is, go through the exercise, all right? I can't tell you, hey, take it from here first, here second, here third, here fourth. Nobody can tell you that. If they're telling you that, they don't understand your situation. They don't know your situation, all right? You have to manage your taxes, and you have to know this going into retirement. So, again, let me know your questions. Let me know your comments. Please subscribe. Please like. Again, I'll put Safeguard Wealth Management's video down there. You can take a look at that. It's more complicated than this, trust me. So, complicated issue. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.